everyone, this is my bald cypress tree, and today I'm going to be talking about how in the world do you plant bald cypress trees the proper way. Now, this is my recent video with the pumpkins. This actually used to be, as I was talking about, in pumpkins, giant pumpkins in Florida, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6, part 7, part 8, I don't even know. I said I used to have a swamp, and each year when the pumpkins die that grow underneath where the swamp was, this would fill up, and I would plant a new bald cypress tree each year. So anyways, it is getting kind of dark. A good thing I'm in a neighborhood, I won't see any hogs. It doesn't look very dark. And well, what you want to do is dig enough space for a swamp. Cypress trees cannot live properly, and they won't distribute seeds out for anybody unless they live in swamp. That's pure standing water. And it's not wavy, it can't knock the trees down with the waves, it's just standing water. And you just want to simulate what the heck is in the swamp. I'm talking about grass and throughout, like growing, because this used to be covered in grass until the summer came. Well, not really summer because still spring, but what you want to do is you want to take a shovel, a spade, or something to dig this 2-foot mound. Now, as you can see, I have trenches. This is my overfill trench, which I have nothing in there but dead plants and stuff. This is great fun, by the way. What I do is I dig a mound about 8 feet long and 5 feet wide. Sorry, my camera makes it look tiny, but my foot right there, it's about 4 feet wide. And what you want to do, if the pond overfills, you want to dig an excess trench. It goes all the way down there, into there, in case it overfills. Because this thing will get up to 2 feet, even though you dug it 1 foot. Because when you walk around in and stuff like that, it will expand as erosion happens. And you know how dirt moves a lot, up and down every single year. It's because the dirt moves down. Because you hear this, right? The dirt moves down. And it will sink a little bit. And any standing water will actually get deeper, and this will get lower. It's kind of fighting each other, because this is getting lower and this is starting to get deeper. That's why you see swamps that aren't very deep. They usually won't get over 5 feet. Because cypress trees, you won't see any in 5 feet. You'll see them up to 3 feet. Because here's what happens. When the seeds fall, guess what? It actually makes all the water disappear. They actually sprout in spring and actually get a root by, December. And then they start sprouting until it's spring. They start growing leaves. And the reason is that the seeds are ready in fall or spring. Because the spring ones really don't make it, but they're more healthier. But in real life, the whole thing would dry up, and they would fall. And then they would start to grow without any water. Because immature things, they just can't sit in water like these. 1 second, let me pull out a bean plant I planted. There goes the ice cream truck! Run, everybody! Ice cream! Ah! Okay. Well, that was kind of funny, but I couldn't find any beans. You know why? This happens the same thing. they shrivel up because they're standing with no air whatsoever. If they were to grow in the summertime, they will stand and sit in water and just rot. Everything will just rot because they have no air to breathe underwater. They have the right climate in the right water, but it's just that they'll freeze. And that's why they always grow during the wintertime and then start growing leaves. And that's why they're so hard to spot in the wintertime, because they don't have any leaves when they grow. But what you want to do is dig a trench, number one, and they'll start to hibernate, which another word, they go through dormant. And this dormant stage happens in wintertime when it gets cold. They sleep. They will not get zero growth. Scientists say there is no growth when they're in dormant. And they start to grow what is called knees over time. And that's why you don't want just a small area. See that one down there? See how I have the little hole? All the way down there? Not this one, but that one has a little hole. You do not want that when they're getting full grown. In fact, I probably should take that one out and place it somewhere over here, because they will guaranteed have no room to grow, and the knees, and you can't. Cypress trees won't live over 70 years without knees. It's an exchange of air and gases. They will absolutely 100% guaranteed will not live. And let's go ahead and get to the pruning. Now, what you want to do with pruning, if they grow way over here into another idiotic person's yard, it's probably going to go like, hey, that's not allowed in my yard. So, here's what you want to do. You want to just trim, you don't want to trim the whole branch off it's going over. You just want to trim part of it, because if it bleeds too much, and because I have a lot of sap, which smells pretty good later on in the spring, but it will bleed, and everything will just die on the tree. And that's not good. And here's what happened with this guy right here. He's barely alive. See the color? See the color? It's kind of getting dark, but this is actually white, because it turned that color because the sap released while trimming. I'm hoping this guy might make it. I'm really hoping, because that was like my favorite tree until I got this one. But now we're done with that. I gotta pretty much talk pretty fast because maple trees are coming up next. Maple trees. Okay, maple trees will not, in Florida, they're called Acer rubrum. In the real place, I mean, they're non-tolerant to sandy soil, like really dry sandy soil. Watch this. They will not accept that. No, they will not accept any of that. They need this. See how moist that is? Now, you definitely can take it out of their environment, but we want to dig a small trench. Not like that one, but a small trench. Now, we're losing camera because it's getting dark, but a small trench. And the way you want to do this is when it rains, and when it doesn't rain, it just kind of like sits there, and there's no water, but it's still moist. But when it rains, it get higher, and when it doesn't rain in wintertime, it's still moist, but there's no water. So they develop a helicopter seed. What these helicopter seeds do, they'll fall. Whoa! And kind of like this. I'm spitting. and they will fall about 100 feet away from the tree. And then they'll start developing roots, kind of like a regular seed. Now these guys actually do have to be cold for a couple of months, but then when the spring comes, they'll start growing. So, basically, I pretty much gotta go. I have absolutely 0%. I have no idea what I'm gonna talk about next. Oh, one more thing. This is an example of what happens. I can't really see it at all. Try and get it in there. Okay, that's the little part right there. You can't see anything. Sorry. But this is an example. Yeah, it's getting too dark. It's an example, if you can see a little bit. There's a tree. You can barely see it. Oh my gosh. Why are my boots so light up and everything's off like black? If you can see, this tree actually was exposed to dry soil. It's a maple tree. You really can't tell because I have 0 leaves. Same thing for that one. Right there. Not this one, but that one. I got a little bit of sun right there. It's barely light outside. It kind of looks more lighter than it is, but look down. If you can't, look at that. And you hear the crickets, but that will happen that will always happen if you don't put moist soil. So I gotta go. My maple seeds failed, sadly, but I still have one more left in this bag. SpongeBob! He's mad. Yeah, gotta get out of here.